Hi. I had just finished like a college thing and I was sort of interning at a music studio, and then that ended and I was just kind of like completely like aimless in life, just not sure what I was gonna do, playing in a couple bands. I had no idea like what the future held at the time. I felt like I was kind of stuck, but I knew that I liked making stuff, so I was just making music and I was in my own space doing my own thing, and I think that with that I had the freedom to explore like any sound I wanted. It could have been desperation or just like because I had nothing else ahead to just work on something like that. I didn't think beyond the first song and video. I made them all in one night. I remember starting to make Sorry Safari just with the computer and exploring different samples and sounds because I wanted to try to make something that sounded like chillwave. The first music video was inspired by kind of like found footage and old technologies. I was just looking on YouTube and found this like a demo video for this computer that was, I don't know if it was in the 80s or 90s, but I was really into the way the guy was talking about making music with the computer and how kind of funny it seems now to watch. I also was at the time kind of trying to place this music in like another time period. Like I originally put it on Bandcamp that it came out in 1970 something and people believed it, so I was kind of trying to like build this mysterious time, location, and identity. It was just the most simple, like, I put it on Bandcamp and went to bed. I think because I tagged it with like chillwave, lo-fi, electronic, there were blogs and people looking through those tags, and Flashlight Tag was a blog at the time and they posted the song, and I was so inspired to see that it was posted by someone, and I think that gave me like some more excitement and realized that people could like the project. But it was just a few months later that I had started talking to my current European booking agent, and we just started talking about doing a tour, and that was going to be the next year in 2012. That kind of pushed me to make some more songs, so I think I worked on Corvette Cassette. I don't remember what was next, maybe Youths or Feel Flows. So I just kind of started putting those on Bandcamp and SoundCloud and just kind of started like trying to get the blog's attention, sending it to their emails and stuff. More blogs started posting about that song and other songs, and I felt happy that people were hearing it like more than music maybe I made before. Those 3 songs were like the triangle at first, like an EP. So from there I wanted to finish and make a whole album. I've always thought that music and art, you know, the cover and the music are like 50-50 of importance. I was working on the artwork around the same time as the music, and I was always kind of trying to find, just like I work on different music ideas, like different visual ideas, and I just remember putting the stars on the kids and just like, I think I was at a coffee shop and I remember doing that, and it just made so much sense to be like an album cover. I was really into like trying new things with and how to present music, I guess, and like part of that was like symbols and different like design things. I wanted some of the songs to be symbols, and you know that was difficult at the time to like get that online, but I think partly the artwork, having the 3 kids and then the 3 songs, it all just was making sense to me like in a triangle kind of way. And I mean triangles are cool, and they were cool then, so I just felt like, why not name something an image instead of words? Wasn't too complicated though, I just thought it was cool. I mean, when I first started posting the songs, I wanted to be anonymous because I wanted people to focus just on the music. In my first press photo, I cut myself out and put another photo in there. A friend of mine, Jonas Goonface, at the time was making these cool masks out of cardboard boxes, and so I was gonna play my first show and I needed something to wear, and that's when I asked him, and the mask is here. The first mask right there, and he made it all by hand one night, and it was an imaginary animal. That's what I told him I wanted it to be. I think that wearing the mask is painful, uncomfortable, annoying, but I think that it is exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm glad I've done it. And you know, I think that the benefits definitely outweigh the bad. I never wanted to like sit down and talk like this with the mask on because I thought it would look weird. And maybe it does, but at the same time, I never want people to feel like I'm not able to open up, you know? Like, I never wanted to make an anonymous project to distance myself from people or fans or whatever that is. It's kind of become like a paradox where being masked and hiding who I am has actually opened me up to be more personal and share more of myself with the world. I think that's why I've been able to speak a little bit more about it looking back. I finished those songs in 2011, the first 3 I think, and I started doing a couple shows in the US. A little festival, blog festival, was my first show, and DIY venues, and playing one of my first shows, and my computer, like the audio just like completely cut out, wouldn't work during the sound checks, so I kind of panicked but quickly thought I could save this show, so I grabbed my iPod, which luckily had my set was on there, gave it to the sound guy, borrowed a drum from my friends who were also playing, and I had played drums most of my life. That was my first instrument, and so it made a lot of sense, but you know, I thought I'm just gonna like take the mask and like whatever I am, take the drum, put it in the middle of the crowd, and just play the whole set like a drum karaoke with the tracks. And it worked, and I was really happy, and my hands were like bleeding by the end of it, but I really had this clear idea now. And you know, I remember emailing Guillaume, the European agent, saying, I need drums like for the show, like let's figure something out, because you know, it clicked with me, like I don't have to be just like a DJ with like a controller, I could do something else. There were 2 videos made by Brendan Canty from his project's called Feel Good Lost. He made the Corvette cassette video, which you know was super fun to do together, and that ended up being like a Vimeo staff pick, which was like at the time the biggest achievement I could imagine. I did a really small cassette tape release with a Brooklyn-based label called Words and Dreams, and that was my first physical piece of music, and I brought that with me on tour. So I think it was just like months later that my brother and I went to Europe for the tour, and I wanted visuals like to be projected. We put everything on a DVD, and a lot of that I just found on YouTube, and I kind of manipulated different footage to fit the songs and lined everything up, and some was already like there were music videos that were already made, and that those were used as well by Feel Good Lost. We just had a DVD and it had a little countdown, and I had to look back, and then right when it went to 0, press play. That was like how we like synced it up, and sometimes it messed up, but it kind of worked. I think my original idea, and it might have been like a little too inspired by Daft Punk, was to wear a leather jacket on stage. And like in my original press photos, you could see that. But I took that to Europe, and the first show I just was dying like of heat and sweat, like, so I just took it off, and it was, you know, a realization that that wasn't gonna work for me. And I mean, I've always just been, for this project, interested in wearing something that I wouldn't wear in normal life on stage. Obviously, like with the mask itself. The first mask was obviously a huge inspiration on the rest of the costume. I wore like a vest with different cutout things, cutout fabrics, and my mom helped me make that, as well as like a scarf that I made. While I was in Ireland for the first tour, we filmed the video for youth. We worked with this little boy who played like the young version of me, and that was super fun. A little bit later on, Paris, from, at the time his company was called Sudden Black, made an amazing music video for Field Flows, which is kind of like a short film that just blew me away and is really crazy good. And that was like, I think it was in some film festivals as well, but yeah, that was just like a really a passion project from him, and yeah, it's really good. When the full album of Triangle first came out, it was through a small label in Portugal called Lebensstrasse, and they made a vinyl, which was like really fun for me to have a vinyl made, and they released it worldwide. I'm thankful that in my career so far, you know, I haven't felt the need to like get away from my old music. Like, I like it still, and I still enjoy playing it at every show, like some of these songs. I'm thankful that I still like enjoy the whole thing, and I feel like for it being now 10 years old, I'm thankful that I don't hate it. You know, I think back to the me that made that album, you know, and I feel like a completely different person, but I feel a real connection to that person, and I think that if I knew then what I would be able to do because of that album, I think it would be disbelief or shock and confusion. Like, I did not expect to make this album and then have at least this decade-long career with it. I don't know, maybe I'd feel less worried for the future if I knew that. I hope that it isn't my best work, but sometimes I think it is, because I feel like I was more free at the time and like didn't have a lot to think about when it came to like making music as Slow Magic. So I think there was a bit of a freedom involved that maybe I don't have now, or maybe that I don't let myself have, because I feel I've kind of built this whole brand a little more than I did then. Sometimes I think that the way I made music now is a lot different than I did then, but when I really think about it, it's all the same, like just making cool sounds and loops that I like, and getting kind of stuck and lost in this endless loop, and then trying to pull out a song from that, and that's what takes so long. But you know what? I think it's time. I'm done.